lot went down at the latest meeting between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor McGregor. First, tensions flared backstage when the two fighters clashed in a heated altercation. But the biggest surprise came during the official face-off event, where Eubank Jr. showed up alongside his father. Chris Eubank Sr., the elder Eubank, has been notably absent from his son's career in recent years due to ongoing disagreements and public rifts. The reunion of the trio, Eubank Jr., Eubank Sr., and Ben, added an unexpected emotional layer to an already intense build-up ahead of their highly anticipated fight later this month.
You know, yeah, just what happened, and then it will take a miracle for Conor to beat.
Ain't no miracle. Listen, you got someone sitting there who'd rather fight YouTubers.
An act of God is what it would be for you to beat me. If you beat me...
Okay then. Be a man of your word then, you retire then.
This was a golden opportunity for Conor McGregor, a chance to settle old scores and take revenge on Chris Eubank Jr. and his father. Given the long history of fiery verbal exchanges between his father, Nigel Ben, and the Eubanks, Conor wasn't about to let the moment pass quietly. He came armed with sharp words and didn't hold back, launching verbal attacks on both father and son. Initially, things seemed calm and composed during the scheduled face-off, but the atmosphere quickly shifted when the trio stepped aside for a brief interview with reporters. While Chris Eubank Jr. and his father answered questions, Conor McGregor reappeared and unleashed a tirade of insults, accusing them of putting on a deceitful show and calling out their sudden display of unity. The tension, already high, reached a boiling point, setting the stage for an even more explosive clash in the ring.
Live on the show worldwide, live broadcast in the UK and Ireland, Saturday, April 26th, is Ben versus Eubank.
While answering questions, the two Eubanks promised Conor McGregor a career-ending defeat. Chris Eubank Jr. aggressively declared, "I'm going to help boxing eliminate a cheat for good." The remark caught Ben's attention, and he quickly approached them. What followed was a heated exchange between Ben and the Eubanks before they eventually separated to focus on the upcoming fight week.
I want to apologize to you because I remember you saying that I was disrespectful to your dad, so I'm sorry for offending you saying that I hate your dad. I don't hate your dad because you know what it is? Through my stupidity. That was my stupidity. I'm a 61-year-old man and you know what? I thank God for having Chris in my life because at the end of the day...
Just before the clash, Chris Eubank Jr. complained that his 100,000-pound fine for slapping Conor McGregor with an egg was too steep. The incident happened in February during their first face-off ahead of the April 26 fight. As they stared each other down, Eubank Jr. pulled out an egg and smashed it in Ben's face, mocking his excuse of eating too many eggs after failing 2 drug tests in 2022. Security quickly stepped in, and the British Boxing Board later fined Eubank Jr. £100,000 a stunt.
On April 26th.
Well, I'd love to give him 2 beatings, but he should retire. People will be calling for retirement come April 26th. If it was UFC, I'd make him tap out.
What punishment do you think he should get for the slap yesterday?
I think he should get £1 million fine for the slap.
Yeah.
Just due to the profile of the fight, I feel like it'd be an injustice if it was anything less than £1 million.
Chris Eubank Jr., 35, described the £100,000 fine as a little bit strong and confirmed he's addressing the issue. Speaking to Sky Sports, he said, "Pound $100K for throwing eggs seems a little bit strong," noting that others have received smaller fines for more serious incidents. People have been punched, slapped, tables thrown. No one's been fined this much. 2 days after the Egggate incident, Eubank Jr. and Ben came face-to-face again at a press conference, where Eubank Jr. made it clear he had no regrets about what happened. Eubank Jr. didn't hold back, reflecting on the last 2.5 years by saying, a lot of lines have been crossed. He added, "I'm sitting on stage with two of the scummiest characters in boxing, a PEDs cheat and a man who did everything he could to help him get away with it." Defending his actions, he said, "Throwing an egg at someone who blamed contaminated eggs for failing 2 drug tests? That's light. He deserved the embarrassment. And if I had the chance to do it again, I would."
We've done so much. We've left you lot to carry on the legacy. So at the end of that, but I apologise for what I said about hating your dad. I really don't. But because you was going on about it, and at the end of the day, I just want to let you know, I'm sorry.
Chris Eubank Jr. smashed an egg in Conor Benn's face to cap off a fiery press conference just 2 months ahead of their grudge match in London. The showdown in Manchester saw Eubank Jr. confront Ben over his failed drug tests, which had scrapped their original 2022 fight, and led to Ben's temporary boxing ban in the UK. Tensions ran high throughout, and things boiled over when Eubank Jr. ended the exchange with the egg incident. Due to the heated scenes, their planned face-off on the 3rd day was cancelled over security concerns.
Your life, you know that? No, you are. What, you think I'm be a walk in the park?
I mean, yeah, on a nice summer's day.
The altercation was quickly contained by security as Ben attempted to retaliate. After the incident, Ben took to social media, firing back, "That's the only shot you'll land on me, you freaking idiot. 2 rounds, you're finished." Ben, who tested positive for the banned substance clomiphene in 2022, was later cleared by the World Boxing Council in 2023, which accepted his claim that excessive egg consumption was a plausible explanation. That very excuse became the target of Eubank Jr.'s unusual egg stunt, which nearly sparked a full-blown brawl before both fighters were restrained by security.
Relationship with your dad now?
You know, we're in a weird, we're in a strange place in our lives at the moment. You know, it's very hard to kind of, you know, go through an entire career being with your old man and then to not have him around anymore in terms of, you know, the boxing side of things. But I just felt that that's what I needed.
Conor Ben, 28, was only recently fully cleared and is now set to face Chris Eubank Jr., 35, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on April 26. The two will clash more than 30 years after their fathers, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr., settled their own bitter rivalry. Eubank Sr. defeated Ben in 1990, and they fought to draw in 1993. Even before the egg slap, the press conference was charged with tension as both men and their promoters exchanged sharp words and jabs.
But retribution is coming your way, mate. I'm telling you, it is coming your way, mate. You know, he's gonna hit you so many times with a left, you're gonna be crying for a right. He's gonna hit you so many times, you're gonna think you're surrounded. I'm telling you, mate. He's gonna.
I don't want to hear apology.
Eubank Jr. kicked things off by suggesting he and Ben should sit closer together, but Ben quickly shot him down, responding, "I don't know who you think you're talking to, silly idiot." Eubank Jr. couldn't resist taking a dig at Ben, mocking the latter's egg consumption and its connection to his failed drug tests, using it to taunt Ben during the press conference. Not one to shy away from drama, Eubank Jr. also aimed a shot at Eddie Hearn, Ben's promoter. When Hearn tried to have his say, Eubank Jr. immediately shut him down, firing back with an angry response.
They've come from contaminated egg.
The case is done. I'm not here to talk about the case at all. It's, you know...
I'm only asking because he hit you with an egg, obviously.
He can do what he wants. It's going to get chinned come April 26. Period.
Eubank Jr. wasted no time, addressing Eddie Hearn with, "Eddie, you know I don't like you, right? So what on earth makes you think I'm going to listen to anything you have to say? We're going to skip past whatever nonsense you were about to say. You can sabotage the event, and I'll just talk to Ben directly." The always outspoken Hearn couldn't resist a comeback, quipping, "I think I'm more popular than you." He then turned to Ben, asking, "Conor Ben, how are we feeling about smashing this geyser to pieces on April 26? Ben also took a jab at the strained relationship between the Eubanks, saying his dad doesn't even like him. You couldn't pay that man enough money to sit in his son's corner. Eubank Jr. seemed unfazed by the remark, calmly responding that he was accepting the roles both men would play in the upcoming fight, and subscribe my channel for other videos.